viewers, Namaskar. In view of the rising number of COVID cases in Rourkela and the nearby areas, you are requested to adhere to the COVID-appropriate behaviors like wearing masks properly, washing hands frequently, maintaining social distancing and avoiding crowded places. Welcome to this edition of the News Bulletin. In the headlines today, SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant making steel in harmony with nature. And corporate governance, strengthening of systems and perception of stakeholders are keys for success of an organization, said CEO RSP. And now the news in detail. The catastrophic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has made the world realize the importance of environment and the pressing need to protect and nurture it. The World Environment Day reminds the human race to think, act and strategize to preserve the marvel of natural balance while prospering in tandem. At SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant RSP, the mantra has always been to protect and preserve the environment and produce steel in harmony with nature. Progressive adoption of environment-friendly new technologies, environmental monitoring and spreading environmental awareness have always remained the three focus areas of the steel plant. RSP, the first Indian steel plant to adopt the environment-friendly and energy-efficient LD technology in early 60s, is giving topmost priority towards adopting the latest technology available for making of green steel. The plant has installed many environment-friendly systems during the recent phase of modernization and expansion in spite of the high cost involved. Latest techniques are being adopted to check all types of pollution, be it air, water or land. Electrostatic precipitators, bag houses, multi-cyclones, dust suppression systems and wet scrubbers have been installed to check air pollution. In the last financial year, RSP fulfilled the commitment given to the State Pollution Control Board SPCB by completing 3 critical environment management projects related to fugitive emissions and stack emissions. The 3 projects, that is secondary emission control systems, doghouse in basic oxygen furnaces 1 and 2 of steel melting shop 2, installation of dry fog dust suppression system in ore bedding and blending plant and controlling of stack emissions from coke ovens battery 5, installation of air pollution control systems bag houses in kiln number 2, 3 and 4 of the calcining plant 2, repair and revamping of electrostatic precipitators as well as installation of a 100-meter tall chimney in sintering plant 1, stoppage of oxygen lancing and adoption of oxyacetylene, gas cutting of scrap were some other major jobs carried out in the last 1 year that have helped in improving the environment. With the incessant effort by the Water Management Department, along with the consumer departments, the specific water consumption has been reducing consistently. Excluding the Q1 of fiscal year 2020-21, when the production was all-time low because of the COVID-19 pandemic, in the rest 3 quarters, the specific water consumption was 3.07 meter cube per TCS, which was all-time low. RSP is going to be a zero discharge plant very soon. The steel plant has taken a major decision not to use fresh water for the upcoming new projects. As a first step, RSP has constructed a pump house at Lagoon Inlet for pumping treated effluent from lagoon for its gainful utilization in its newly installed state-of-the-art 3 MTPA hot strip mill 2. In addition to this, RSP has also taken up various green projects for environment protection, namely installation of solar power plant, solar water heating systems and LED lighting system in place of traditional lighting system in township. The plant's dedicated efforts in use of alternate fuels like blast furnace gases, coke ovens gases and LD gases and use of renewable energy has led to a cleaner environment. The steel plant achieved best ever specific energy consumption of 6.19 gigacalorie per ton of crude steel, gigacalorie per TCS in 2020 to 2021. Notably, specific energy consumption is a key techno-economic parameter that signifies the efficiency of the entire steel plant, including its effectiveness in the environment conservation. To protect biodiversity, Rourkela Steel Plant has taken various steps in creation of a massive carbon sink and reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. The steel plant has planted 50,000 trees inside RSP plant premises during 2020-21. With this, the total plantation has crossed 50 lakhs and the total green cover in Rourkela is now 33.22%. The green and clean ambience of the steel city of Rourkela offers an eloquent testimony to RSP's commitment to Mother Earth. New SIP System Improvement Project Modules 2019 and 2021 pertaining to registration and processing of bills related to works contract were launched at SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant RSP on virtual mode by Mr. Deepak Chattaraj, CEO, on 3rd June 2021. The program was attended by Mr. Rajveer Singh, ED HA, Mr. Pankaj Kumar, ED Works, Mr. S.R. Suryavanshi, ED Operations, Mr. A.K. Pradhan, ED Projects, Mr. P.K. Satpathy, ED P&A, and many other senior officers and HODs. It is worth mentioning here that the project has been steered by Vigilance Department and implemented by the development team of C&IT in association with the user departments. The software modules in SAP shall process the running account bills submitted by vendors with minimum individual discretion and intervention. The software entirely takes care of all the provisions of rules, guidelines, procedures, status related to contract management at RSP. The running account bills submitted by the vendors shall be tracked right from the registration at Contract Executing Department CED up to the point of payment by finance. Congratulating the team behind the successful development of the modules, Mr. Chattaraj said, "The entire operations and transactions of the plant has to be digitized so that all activities can be processed, measured, operated and monitored. This will not only improve our corporate governance but will also strengthen the systems. Besides, the transparency in the systems and procedures will enhance the trust of our stakeholders on us, which would go a long way in surviving and thriving in an extremely competitive business climate." It is worth mentioning here that the modules have been developed under the guidance of Mrs. Atishi Parmanik, CGM, AI and IT, Mr. Manas Kumar Gupta, GM and ACVO RSP, Mr. VK Yadav, GM Vigilance and Mr. P. Prasad, GM Services. Implemented in 4 major shops initially, namely blast furnaces, coke ovens, new plate mill and hot strip mill 1 and 2, the modules will later be extended to other departments. The modules shall benefit both RSP and the contractors in terms of increased transparency, less individual discretion, increase in speed of processing and ability to track the bill at various stages of processing. In the inaugural function, Mr. Manas Kumar Gupta welcomed the gathering and described about the modules. Mr. V.K. Yadav and Mr. D.C. Yadav, Senior Manager C&IT, made presentations on the operations of the modules. Mr. J.P. Shukla, AGM Vigilance, coordinated the program. That's all for today's news bulletin. Namaskar.